Revelation Unraveled, Part 34, Daniel's Visions. The Old Testament prophet Daniel experiences several strange and powerful visions of the end times, its one-world tyranny, and its leader, the Antichrist. The chief characteristics of this tyranny are very similar to those of St. John in the Apocalypse. As shown to Daniel, this last tyranny will be a successor to former world tyrannies and a confederation of 10 nations. It will be more powerful than all previous governments put together. Its leader, the Antichrist, will be consummate evil himself, who can be defeated only by God's direct intervention. Daniel's first and most famous end times vision is in response to a dream which King Nebuchadnezzar had of a great and terrible statue made with a head of gold, chest of silver, belly of bronze, legs of iron, and feet partly of iron and part clay. Daniel says to the king, "There is a God in heaven that reveals mysteries, who has shown you, O King Nebuchadnezzar, what is to pass in the latter times. And the fourth kingdom shall be as iron breaks into pieces and subdues all things, so shall that break and destroy all these. And whereas you saw the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but yet it shall take its origins from the iron, according as you saw, the iron mixed with the miry clay." The part of Daniel's vision that most concerns us in the end times is the feet of iron and clay. The 10 toes represent the nations led by the Antichrist, which Daniel sees as a loose confederation consisting primarily of former states of the Roman Empire, the Kingdom of Iron. As we've noted before, since 10 is a symbolic number, signifying completion, the confederation actually consists of all the world's nations. Some exegetes suggest that the clay refers to silicon used in computer chips, and the iron represents the numerous technological tools we use, including computers, which are integral to our civilization. Daniel's reference to the seed of men included in the mix means that everyone will be required to take the microchip mark of the beast in his hand or forehead during the reign of the New World disorder. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas you saw the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall be mingled indeed together with the seed of man, but they shall not stick fast one to another, as iron cannot be mixed with clay. This microchip in the body will make everyone a slave of the system, simply a cog in the machine. In this future totally materialistic society, a man or woman will be just one more scrap of fabric in the quilt. Current fads like body piercing, tattoos, face painting, microchips in animals, debit cards, etc., are being promoted to make it psychologically easier to accept a chip under the skin. As many others are warning today, we will be merely a number in the equation. But, as St. John warns, this is anathema to God, and those who accept the mark of the beast will be cast ultimately into the lake of fire, along with the Antichrist and the false prophet. The stone cut out of the mountain, Daniel 2 verse 45, is a clear indication that it is God who will end the one world anti-system. In Daniel's second vision, he sees 4 beasts come up out of the sea. Sea in prophecy means peoples. The beasts are a lioness with wings, a bear with 3 rows of teeth, and a leopard with 4 wings. A fourth beast, more terrifying than the others, has 10 horns, from which a smaller horn erupts, which destroys 3 of the 10 horns. The first 3 beasts are all reflected in St. John's description of the beast from the sea, Antichrist, chapter 13, verse 2. The fourth, terrifying beast is the same as the 7th/8th communist empire. And thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be greater than all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns of the same kingdom shall be 10 kings. And another shall rise up after them, and he shall be mightier than the former, and he shall bring down 3 kings. And he shall speak words against the High One, and shall crush the saints of the Most High. And he shall think himself able to change times and laws, and they shall be delivered into his hands, until a time and times and half a time. Here is yet another verification of the last one-world tyranny, which consists of all nations, with the evil Antichrist as its leader, who will destroy several of them. As great as he and his kingdom is, it will be broken by divine judgment and given to the saints. In Daniel's 3rd vision of the end times, he sees a struggle between a ram and a goat, which eventually yields a little horn. The little horn is another portrait of the Antichrist, his evil and powerful nature, and his almost total success in destroying the Catholic Church. And it was magnified even to the prince of the strength, and it took away from him the continual sacrifice, and cast down the place of his sanctuary. And strength was given him against the continual sacrifice because of sins. And truth shall be cast down on the ground, and he shall do and shall prosper. And his power shall be strengthened, but not by his own force. And he shall lay all things waste, and shall prosper, and do more than can be believed. And he shall destroy the mighty, and the people of the saints, according to his will. And craft shall be successful in his hand, and his heart shall be puffed up. And in the abundance of all things he shall kill many. And he shall rise up against the prince of princes, and shall be broken without hand. The continual sacrifice, verses 11 through 13, which the Antichrist takes away, is the holy sacrifice of the Mass. The power that strengthens him is Satan, but in the end, when he tries to rise up against the Prince of Princes, Christ, he shall be broken without hand, which is his supernatural defeat at Armageddon. Again, all these details about the end times fit exactly with the same events in the Apocalypse. Israel. One of the most important signs that we are in the end times is the resurgence of the nation-state of Israel. Jesus said that this is how we would know that we were in those days. Now from the fig tree, learn this parable. When its branch is now tender, and the leaves break forth, you know that summer is near, even at the door. Matthew 24, verse 32. In this oft-quoted passage, the fig tree is a symbol of Israel. This does not mean that the modern state of Israel is the same as the people of Israel with whom God made his covenant. We must remember that Jesus also said that in the latter days the Jews would accept the Antichrist as their Messiah. I have come in the name of my Father, and you did not receive me. If another come in his own name, him you will receive. John chapter 5, verse 43. The Jews, like everyone else who takes the mark of the beast, will suffer the same fate as the Antichrist and the Anti-Pope. In the Apocalypse, St. John enumerates 144,000 out of the 12 tribes of Israel, who will be servants of God, signed on their foreheads. The sign they will be marked with is the sign of the cross, or in the Hebrew alphabet, the letter Tau. After this group of saved Jews, St. John describes the Gentiles who will be saved, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and tribes and peoples and tongues. Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. Isn't it interesting that when St. John lists all those who come out of the Great Tribulation and wash their robes and make them white in the blood of the Lamb, he mentions the Jews first. Even at the very end of days, the Jews are a chosen people, a nation set apart. The phrase Jews for Jesus is not a misnomer. Even when Jews accept Jesus as their Messiah, they still retain their Jewish heritage.